Say, who defense in the China home moka? They have a problem in how Zito Aye Yamazi. Your team is losing and coach is setting ideal. As a few animal.
Are you? I'm sure say about you.
Okay, you come conform so kakra. Andra na me wo fia me monitor show no. Na no say me wi am no asem wo ho de mo de ye me ndra no. Me wi am no asem. Kwagu one virus any lucha a human job on Arsenal. Any Eberichi is in how Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal team spend any Niema. Now today I'm not even looking at Arsenal signings on my year, the Mikel Arteta Ediaba on board. But the talking point, the question when you are outside fans Asia or Mubusa some amount for Kenya and say, why is it that the EPA clubs are super powerful when it comes to the transfer market? We are weak plus some days away from closing the transfer window.
Yeah.
But if you look at the number of teams are in England, the kind of spendings are on my year, Sika or my spending in summer. We now they compare the other leagues now. You have to go to Spain, you go to probably Germany, and then maybe Italy. More come spending snabum and what team do I close a Juma EPL clubs in a single summer transfer. And it is not only this season. And Kwana EPL clubs na areas. So the question people ask and they say, aside TV rights, EPL for the name say omu TV rights in the Warsaw, aside sponsors, anyhow lucrative are name say EPL clubs no omu the and awards rinchaya omu clubs ni enyesikano. What are the means of finances? These clubs, a Kwanba no first to generate sika. Other clubs now omakani entimenyebi. Yakani with all due respect to the Premier League clubs. In terms of Kessiyo, in terms of brand, in terms of class, any level, club will be any EPR at the level do Real Madrid.
Yeah.
By far, Madrid is the biggest when it comes to club football. But deal inside a year ever transfer. We've seen summer window, even a minor club in the Premier League, and as a small club in the Premier League, 80 top players, you may quantify the amount of money or must spend now the Real Madrid or apart. Even in the year, this summer, I say Real Madrid spend this car transfer market. I must spend 160 something. Go to England. Even some of the mid-table teams they spend that amount of money. So the question is, I am fan your music. So, over the data on your screen now. This is EPL clubs. To think that these are EPL clubs. To think that a 2020, ever payment year yedin komo EPL clubs are generating 1.9 billion. When it comes to players from Academy, sales from players are from Academy, and the models are EPL teams they will pretty. Say homegrown player team now how the player balances the book. So auto player or a homegrown player about team how that player balances books and making sure say in terms of a club financial feasibility our first register players any other they help make sure say any the amount. Those things EP club. Now the data on the screen indicates said if it is 2020 ever payment now you can say 5 years any I can't just 100 million. Now EP clubs in terms of sales are on my year or academy players are on kasa na atito. No matter either they've sold them internally announced to foreign marketer or maybe generate sika but I didn't care too much so when you're homegrown player it balances a lot of things book so a boama we are feasible 80 players with huge sums of money and effective will bring now the first club will decay and now you understand the reasoning here since even clearly we ever far Chelsea no kweku omo marketing must spending almost 2 billion she ento if it is 2020, they are the most profitable club when it comes to players are academy leading with 365 million pounds in a period of 5 years. The next club was Aston Villa. Now you understand the reason in here. Unai Emery is running Aston Villa team. Recently, Omutimi toe to toe with some of the big teams for some of the big players are omuhi omodo, but in terms of players are omunso grow omo attitude omo turn from academy anyamfa, so they are second with 246 million pounds. Then about Manchester City, the last time I projected a line up here, na me of Manchester City omu youth team no enkwada omo graduate ewo ma say omo big teams omu si akanya ye betimi afeld omo in one team and they are competing most of the leagues are boy. Manchester City are being placed on the third position with 218 million pounds when it comes to players on my turn from academy. Then the next club or 12 Liverpool 192 million pounds and Saba Arsenal. The entire Arsenal for them yen say yes, Arsenal teton or what it maybe you say or teton or no maton Arsenal for be low no send high from academy, but to think that Arsenal club now at the home could Arsenal enter player more than 55 million pounds. Say so interesting.
Yeah.
Arsenal top players I can see abode ediba. But a disadvantage when it comes to Arsenal is in terms of selling. In the history of Arsenal, amount player more than 55 million pounds. All the big boys are Arsenal for one way or the other every time no more contract 1 year no issues any other and then they go an amount of money a war from kakra. I think that they also can and Arsenal team, but these are even academy products here do and Arsenal are being placed on the 5th with 135 million. Now about Tottenham, West Ham United, Manchester United more at what. So aside TV rights and aside commercially, omo league in air viable, omo attractive sponsors ever on board. No, in terms of proper running of academic football, you generate sika internally and from balance books and work clubs. I think that it is one thing the other leagues now will have to look at what the EPL clubs are doing. Give them confidence, attitude, market them very well. No matter if they are able to do that, I think that probably in the next 5 years, when we are in 2030, now the other leagues clubs adapting a method, any models are EPL for the usual. Then we can get Mallorca, we can get Espanyol. So Oko Italy, Ibetimania, Lazio more, Ibetimania, those smaller clubs. I'm not saying it's a Lazio a smaller club, but in terms of financial muscle, Ibetimania star clubs. I want to be about to try. How many EPL clubs Ibetima fighting on players in terms of because Kweku and the Fulham Timitam Sika. No, they are called Napoli. No, a quack for player or no more than Bosu and you know what turn the number.
But I don't do the I am rights and honest sponsorship money.
That's what I'm saying. Say, or more than was so. And only was so. But aside that, they are generating internally what the other clubs and also the other leagues are not doing. We got 1.9 billion in a period of 5 years from academy products. Now go to La Liga, go to the Serie A. Now the French League champion. In that period, Liga and they are bank a crack. The Spanish Premier League almost youth win or my and they are not even up to 800. They are not even up to 800. That is all clubs quantify. I'll probably have time and get you that one data, but when you read through, they are not even exceeding 800. Of course.
And if you Real Madrid Academy, no, you bet me no more crap previous, you bet me players be there, or football no level, no more Coco Bodu, you know. Apart from more, you just one matter,
of course.
Yeah. Roberto Soldado. Yeah. So Madrid Academy. So academy product na ebi wo ha onya chance o Madrid but e de ne kwa o se lose no your academy product okọ ne na mu an o mo santo no e de ne ba be wura mu so can I pese be hwe ne
I'll get that. This is 5 years, the last 5 years. Yes, from 2020 the last 5 years. Inti matter ne those players now can probably say back date here a bit ma bring on yes in the discussion, but this is purely the last 5 years. So when you see the data on your screen now from 2020 summer 2020 when I think that the other leagues need to learn from what the EPL clubs are doing now. Moving from Sa and Komono look at Ayan stories no we're doing Komo said Tottenham for former manager Ange Postecoglou Komwa Bobo Bache said Nottingham Forest and sure I'm never on board na Oba Beyejma and then I go fast in winning. Kuku yanka bin shimu wadamfo no Espirito Santo and akwa any press and on the press and asking ahead of the game and all weekend. And Wako can say our relationship has changed. It's not so close. It's not on daily basis. Yebusane said Nottingham Forest European football this season. Now last season Yenim said Jumana Omoye level Omudru they will want to better that. But in terms of transfer, about a week or two, and I mean you didn't come over and not make catch say when you look at the EPL clubs, all must spend this in a transfer window. At top players, I'm on my bar. Nottingham for I knew what said some 3 seasons ago. We know when I buy league, Monfest, 22 players.
Yeah.
A table from on the top 11, I'm at 9, any other. But this time in the market, we are not seeing them. And there's a coach, our qualified club, no. Edo Moko European footballer, Obia if you are not buying, you need to add quality into your team. So on top, you can play about one last season. Or boy Nottingham Forest part. We could normal flanks and say, oh well, yeah, darling boy Ghana Nia, one of my friends say Hobson Odoi. On the other side, Manchester rejector or redefining the form of Nottingham Forest. Hey, Anthony Elenga. Elenga contribute so well to Nottingham Forest, almost success story. Omunya last season, and they are Elenga way. He's at Newcastle United. And it's a whole most of and I said some of your important players are you are expected to obey the quality at the Abishim. We are not seeing that much from Omo. Coach, you could be in an or say, on plan tronjiri will be a near yedin come. Relationship are near work on any owner in terms of review and this him. At first, Obet me are working on at the Aqua Evangelist, so I will catch and say, we need Abu Dhabi, we need Maestro, we need Ricardo Varas on board to make sure say a team never complementing what we have. But to say, and Tessa on daily basis, on Timino opinion, ending come up. Or say season way, it is not going to be well for them. Coach, you say, Uhunisa. So, and your mom may call you far more season because, baby, or more their supporters will be expecting more from them. Penny phone account, ask them, say, to whom much is given. Much is expected. It is a wow man and match. You don't expect much from him. But supporters are not expecting much. Owners will be expecting much. But in the market, the owners are not doing the much expected in the whole year. In front of you, say, and Yama Bayajane. But he will do his best. He will try and make sure, say, obey now for Mudia or the club never calling him. Or see team be a work coach be and a responsibility, they say, to train players to adapt into the system. No, do my year, you must say, a very awesome club now, or coaching the club now players, neighbor, and for so basu, I'm almost supporters and Yaji. Coach, and I work out 7 fitting into the plan. The system, we have to our call.
I don't there, fan baby, so I be coaches and also Casa and Ibu hard, you know. No coach on Casa. How much your club president was ever kind of press us?
Young Conde could assemble the war. You're so called to send it you know, Kwan. Maybe so much DNS, because I don't write this year. Could DNS Cynthia opening when Timenko evangelist one in Kudin Como say, I need player A, player B. Not evangelist who say, team not qualify with European football, Saint Yen resource team. No. Sometimes your honest view or any football who are only yet Masano. So who say what you will be our swear and you can't reach you too for a winter. I'm a set to trap a man, a jail palmer. Whoever to Amana Ubitum. You have bought 2-3 matches. Now I'm going to building. It's a new be and a Nottingham Forest for FIN or myself. Kuku, assembling you now, they say. Last season, maybe I defended Nuno Espirito Santo. Thank you, production, for this picture. So, okay, for you. This was a game ended in 2-2 draw. Some match, and Nottingham Forest for 4-4. So, Omunia's results over Leicester City. And automatically no one qualify for UEFA Champions League spot. A mobile game, no, a draw baby, no game, never year 2-2. ASI game, no, there's one listener of our show or Facebook, they be not sending message constantly. Ebusa say, this is our Nigerian brother, Tawo away. The situation it is in that game, and Unya pra. Kweku opera, you know, in about 10 minutes, they assassin a situation, you know, coach, you know, and your substitution. And say the last time I made an explanation or actually we have what we call concussion substitution in football. According to evangelists, any the presidential box, no, they realize that never na aircon and now they are running the bed, everything at a game. So they expect a so opinion every change, no do before Friday, but coach in also say player prayer. Player communicated through the medical staff or Mabanin. Then the medical staff also communicate to the technical bench, say, hey, yeah, player need to to us. Then we do the substitution. In this case, medical staff, the Taiwan way, no one for a response. Then, Papa why furious, all famous was what is happening? Results name we need to make sure that we win the match. We could lapse 10 minutes. Or man, just substitution. Time now, I granted the moon said, on to us. No, mine is just for the concursion substitution period. No, Nottingham Forest and man, substitution. I'm going to say we game 2-2. And I'm going to mix it out on the Champions League. Coach, they say the most important player in his team in that game was Abrante and Nueprano. And ideally, he was not in a rush to make substitution because he thought Aquadano will be to matter no idea. Or about to a game so. And a misunderstanding between Ono and the club president. But the poor match, referee ball now being prepared and a president TC Park. Now, so over the reaction now a call soon. And the coin of us a confronting coach. And number one coach, they fairly say opinion disrespecting. Even if Bibi or one uncle Becca on any beya off camera. Results na by untimen. But you don't do that when cameras are on you to create scene. Ever man phones as a Jumana oil and a crown. He is not in charge. And I dare they say, oh yeah, Juma feel it only my Juma. No, we be creative scene. I'm all beat to everyone say, oh, Juma cross and Yabudia. There are forces behind that Omona area. It undermined Nippon qualities. The last time Rebecca has said, I think that not president go overboard. Then go back to Martin was and number two. I was not Forest for I appreciate no who said, baby, you move free. Any baby and no spiritual son to Edward my baby. At least so many Champions League they should appreciate baby or do Madruno. Chelsea for the Manchester City for the PSG for project. No, it didn't take them just 2 years and a flourish year. It took them years.
But we don't so no everything to say past history no.
Yeah.
There's a club
or a Champions League
UCL.
Of course.
What did they mention?
They've been out for how many years?
I check, but I
feel I will get it closer.
They no me
sometime over 2
months. They me cry na me club president.
Yeah, no way.
Me say.
No way.
Na me bufu afu.
You also understand.
Club no form no ba be nye ne ball na no mo ball. Not for this season. It deserve us enko mo Champions League ni bi. And then na ye ne fault. No spirit to ne fault.
Of course, Ojitum say Oyem from so in that game. But since then, Ontimu embrace that communication gap na a bar between Ole and the president and Anne. Was escalating here, but just after I said, oh yeah, interview ni now multiple reporter inside report indicates that Papa na say their like ready back home. And say yeah, but double sorry, young Ponshu you can out officially. I confirm say Omedia na kwanya okuma na nyon and I am happy nipa na omo ebo ni din say on the very place and nothing I'm interested even in the story. Kuku anje Postecoglou wan. Ubetimi enya ne nanso aka ne ho asem. But I think that Daniel Levy and then the Tottenham for anye fair to opinion. That is my opinion. I am very happy say on missing out even one season, he is getting the chance of bouncing back into the Premier League. Jumana or starting man equipment our Premier League. I think that with Nottingham Forest, which now they are in Europe and they need a manager at least and also European experience. This is the man who just won the Europa League with club by first at Tottenham before say he will soon the exit door. And I think that with the inclusion our club by first at Nottingham Forest, that is going to be a quality additional. If only team 1 or 2 before the transfer closes are fine or man team now or the Kakrana or every season. I think Andy Postecoglou will do a very good job for club in Nottingham Forest. Every time and then so yeah, coming Chelsea in the West Africa.
I saw my maestro bra. Or the ever fall near the may terrible worse issue no crown and anchor. The person we about Mary, God name won't come with a we are Marina. Your Ramsey terrible